Thank you so much for speaking to me. It is wonderful to speak to you. This season has been interesting, to
Yeah,
say the
definitely.
least. So I kind of want to start with why 90 Day Fiance the other way? Why put this out on TV and make it public?
You know, it was something that was happening anyways, and I was really proud of it. So it's like, you know what? Let's show the world our authentic, crazy, weird lives that we're doing. Like a lot of people don't do this every day, so I think it's exciting to watch.
Mhm. What was it? Was there something that you feel that you wanted to learn about yourself or Inky during this whole process?
I mean, definitely. This is Inky's first relationship. So I think this entire process, yes, there's so much to learn on both ends. So much.
Was well, we've seen that kind of be, it's really interesting on the show. You're getting to learn about each other, you're getting to know each other. And so there's going to be ups and downs about that. But do you feel that you had to navigate that differently now that the camera is on you?
Um, yes and no. To me, like, I think the very first day we were filming, I was like a nervous wreck and I was like, and then like I kind of just let it out of my mind. It's like, yeah, there's dudes there with camera, but like this is my real life and this is my person, and like this we actually live this life. So like, we got to keep it real.
So that experience with being in Iceland, I know one of the first things is like, are there any Black people there? But it seems to be a very kind of positive experience so far. We're only a couple episodes in, and so we're at the point where we're going to meet the parents. I know you
Yes.
can't say much, but overall, that experience as a Black woman in Iceland, where the population is much lower, how has that been?
You know, it hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was prepared to be really like ostracized and have people staring at me and like, really being treated as very much other than. But there's so many tourists in Iceland that yes, the population of people that live there that are of color may be quite small, but they're exposed to it all the time every day. So it definitely wasn't as bad.
So I really wanted to talk also about your education, your nursery, which is fascinating. You're going to be a midwife, a doula. That is something that I feel that is so needed. So I want to talk about how did you find that path and how has it really spoken to you? Why, to continue in that and what your hopes are for the overall industry.
I think when I was about 4 years old, I knew that I wanted to deliver babies. And I've never actually wanted to do anything else, which is kind of scary when you think about it. Like my entire career path, like all my eggs are in one basket. Like it's all I've ever wanted to do. And I'm driven to keep pursuing that passion, especially as a woman of color. We're not very much represented in the birthing world, even though, I mean, go back 700 years, we were dominating this. So it's definitely something that I feel empowering to take the power back. So I'm going to keep working hard. That's why, I try as hard as I do.
Can you say where you're at? Are you in anyone's university? Can you
I can't
say?
say.
You cannot say. Can I ask whether or not you're happy at where you're at in the career path?
I can say I am happy. I'm nervous, but I'm
Mhm.
happy.
How do you feel that, going through the school, going through nursery and everything else with applying to colleges, I'm going to assume also in Iceland, we don't know. How do you feel that that has challenged you as a person and also made you better as a person?
Um, Applying to schools is definitely like even the application process is really daunting, and especially like my undergrad, I went to an Ivy League school, so there weren't a lot of people of color in my cohort. I'm not sure how many applied, but there's definitely that feeling of people look at you like, oh, you're a diversity like acceptance and things like that. But it's like, meanwhile, like my grades are better than yours. So it's like I really feel as a Black woman, sometimes I have to be twice as good to be treated just the same. And that's kind of no different in any application or school process I've ever been in. But I guess it's something that I'm getting used to, and it does strive to make me try to be the best that I can be so that I can be twice as good and I can try to demand some respect.
How do you feel that that industry has changed? A lot of it was, as you said before, this was dominated by Black women especially, and now we're seeing fewer of it. How do you feel that that has shifted? We're starting to see a resurgence again, especially when it comes to the mortality rate of pregnant women in hospitals going to deliver. How do you
Yeah.
feel that that has kind of both impacted you and the industry as a whole?
So it's definitely been like the African American maternal mortality rate has been pretty drastic this entire time, but I can say that there are so many good organizations that are trying to make strides to put people in positions of power so that we can fix this. Like I've gotten scholarships from even like Pampers that are dedicated to diversifying the workforce for people that are in the maternal health field. So there's definitely, I mean, it's not like there's still so much more that needs to happen. So I definitely don't want to say like we're there and like we can all relax. Like we need to keep our foot on the gas and keep going, but like we are moving in a good direction.
I wanted to talk about your career ambitions as well, also. Where do you see some of your bigger goals at?
I think ultimately I would like to own my own birth center, to where like it's kind of meets the merge between home delivery and hospital delivery, where there's like accessible like equipment and things if that happens, and we're also close to a hospital, but more of that like home physiologic environment without all the like bright lights and the machines and the people trying to do crazy things to you. So I think ultimately I would like to be able to curate my own space and have people come to a place where they feel safe to give birth. And then maybe even franchise that. Let's put them all over the country, all over the world. Why not?
I like that. Do you feel that there is a misconception that there can be either or? You can, oh, only go to the hospital, only have that doula right there.
Oh, 100%. I think a lot of people think, oh, like if I have a midwife, then I'm not going to be given any pain medication. And so it's like, you have to like have the hot water in the tub or whatever it is that they think. And that's totally not the case. Like even midwives at home, like they can handle repairs. They bring suture kits. They have lidocaine. Some of them carry gas and other different things and like different pain management strategies. And then also there is always the option to transition to the hospital if and when, the two of you decide that it's time to do that. So it's definitely not a hard stop at one or the other.
Right. Going back with the show, I love your family. The personalities, they tell it as it is. That's what I love about it. Have you received any advice from them regarding Inky and you? I'm going to still maybe in Iceland or traveling back and forth.
I mean, my family is definitely, we're all some characters for sure. Like I always say, the apple never even left the tree, and the tree is my grandma. So me, my mom, my sister, we are all very much on that tree. And they'll tell me like it is. I don't want to give away too much about their opinions. We're gonna see some of those coming up. So stay tuned.
How do you balance both their opinions but also what you want? Because it is your life.
Oh, definitely. I know, and this is like a lesson I learned maybe too early in life, which is probably why I'm so crazy now. Like, I am the boss of me. So it's like, yes, my family can give me opinions and advice, and I know that they mean the best for me. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's my decision, every single thing that I do.
What is it about Inky that you feel could bring out the best in you?
It's different than anyone else I've ever dated in a way that, it's softer. I always say the soft partnering thing, which like now makes my own ears bleed, but it's bringing out a softer side of me, and that's something that I want. Like I'm 30 now. I feel like more mature, and I feel like I don't need someone who's also at a 10 energy wise, because I'm at a 10. So if we're both at a 10, like now we're a chaotic 20, and I don't want that anymore. I need like a yin yang situation.
Can we talk about that softness? Because when I heard it was like, I understand the concept, but I was always like, are you able to still get your point across?
Definitely. And I don't think I explained it well when we were filming. Like the cameras get in your face and you're like, what are words? But it's not me saying like, oh, I bite my tongue and I like get walked all over and I don't say like how I feel. Definitely not. It's just approaching things differently. Like it's his first relationship. So I'm not going to approach it like with my exes if my ex would have been at the club at 3 a.m., like talking to girls, like forget about it. It's done. But Inky, it's like, he doesn't know. So it's like, it's just those things like, you got to be a little bit gentler, just a little easy, you know, but still saying what I need to say.
I was interested in, he comes across as very sweet, but at the same time, we do know that he's not experienced, to say, in relationships with other people. How is that balance? Do you feel yourself having to educate him in what, you know, what you want, or what women in general would want, or communication?
Definitely. Definitely. I've definitely assumed like a teacher role in here. It's like a partner, mother, teacher, weird, I don't know. It's a lot.
In a way, how does you feel that is balanced? Because you have someone who knows what they want, and then someone, I'm assuming, doesn't come across as knowing yet.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely takes patience. I think patience on both ends, of like demanding, like, get it together, and then like trying, you know? So it's a balance. And I think in the season, you're going to see like a struggle with that balance a little bit. So, you know, stay tuned.
Can you tease anything about meeting his parents?
Well, there was already the sneak peek of his mom touching my hair.
Yeah.
Which I knew she was gonna do that. Like, I had a feeling someone is gonna like want to touch it. I did think maybe she would ask first. So I was a little like, okay, but she's so sweet, like sweetest woman ever. And she brought me flowers, which I'd asked Inky, I was like, do I bring your mom anything? And he's like, no, don't bring anything, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, like I thought maybe that was Icelandic culture. And then here she comes bringing flowers. And I'm like, oh, why did I listen to you?
Can you kind of talk about the cultural differences? Are there many big differences?
There are definitely some culture differences. But I feel like even in America, there's so many different culture differences. Like my home and my family's culture that we have here may be different than our next door neighbors. So I feel like, and especially as well traveled as I am, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm always trying to be respectful while also trying to be as authentic as I can. Like, I know my wardrobe is a little risque. And so I'm getting a lot of comments of people like, you're not respecting Iceland. But I mean, no one's told me that they have a problem with it. So, I mean, they're just clothes. If I'm warm enough, then like, let me do what I got to do.
There was a lot online about the flea market outfit.
There was a lot. But my thing is like, I like to express myself with clothes. I always have. This isn't like a new thing. This isn't like, oh, I'm on TV. Let me put on something ridiculous. Like, absolutely not. That's my wardrobe. That's how I go to the farmer's market, the grocery store. Like, that's just me doing me.
Did you pick up on any of like the culture in terms of like the clothes, or just the people in general that you want to incorporate in your life?
I think my friends that I had made there, like even prior to meeting Inky, they're very much like my friends here at home. So that was kind of a seamless, like, get together. Like, they let me be wild and crazy, and they're wild and crazy. If anything, they're crazier than like we are. So they're partying later and harder. But there is definitely like a strong family values that I've seen with everyone in Iceland. There's very tight knit families, not just like holidays and birthdays, like every week, multiple times a week, family dinners, family get togethers, which I think is like, it's so sweet and wholesome.
Have the family come around to you possibly living in Iceland forever?
You're going to see on the episode tonight.
Okay, wonderful. And kind of lastly, what I was wondering, what would you say is the best and worst experience for going on a reality show to showcase your love?
I think the best experience is like, if you wanted to do it, do it. And it feels good sometimes, just do what you want to do. So like that in itself is like really inspiring and freeing. Worst, probably that, you know, you have to remember your haters are going to be louder than your supporters. So there's definitely a lot of hate. Anytime I look on my phone, I've got like 100 like death threats. Like, people are crazy. So it's just like, all right, that is probably the worst. But it's also not going to change anything. Like, I'm still going to be doing me regardless of how these strangers behind their keyboards feel.
I love that so much. And just, I was quickly was wondering, does the cameras force you to confront whatever issues there are. Because it's easy to like say, I'll put that aside. But with the cameras there, does that interaction, is it a little bit different?
I will say definitely the interaction's a little bit different. It is TV. So, you know, there are like producers who will try to like, you know, kind of guide conversations, but I would never say at all a forced, no script, no forced. If they tried to bring something up and I wasn't having it, it was just a flat out like, no, you can't really like force me to do anything. So no, I can't say at any point was I forced.
One thing really quickly was the marriage. We've seen clips of like, he doesn't have a ring, you know, we just met. And then it seemed like you had a goal, or you still have a goal, which is, you know, to get married, start a life with this man, have a family. Can you say whether or not you're on the same page when it comes to what both partners want?
I can't say. I think you're gonna have to watch.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for speaking to me, and I look forward to what else there is.
Yes, thank you so much. It was so nice talking with you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.